Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
The Sigourney Car Show is Saturday, July 12th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the beautiful Sigourney, Iowa Square. Cars, trucks, motorcycles, tractors, golf carts, whatever you've got, bring it to the Sigourney Car Show. Early registration is $10 and $15 the day of the show. Plus, you'll get your photos taken in front of the Memorial Fountain for $10 from 9 to 10 a.m. or 3 to 4 p.m. You can drop off or mail your registration to Keokuk County Economic Development at 112 West Washington Street in Sigourney, or get more information at the Keokuk County Economic Development Facebook page or their website. It's the Sigourney Car Show, Saturday, July 12th from 10 to 3. The Keokuk County Expo Fair Kickoff Barbecue Cook-Off Meal and Tractor Show is Saturday, July 12th. Pork ribs, pork loin, chicken hindquarters, potatoes, green beans, and dessert. The Tractor Show is all day. Meal for the public begins at 5:30 for a free will offering. For more information, call Neil Weir at 641-660-3359. It's the Keokuk County Expo Fair Kickoff Barbecue Cook-Off Meal and Tractor Show, Saturday, July 12th. Skunk River Radio, country music from 1990 through 2010 with some Iowa country music sprinkled in. Listen at skunkriverradio.com, download the app, listen on Alexa by saying, "Alexa, play Skunk River Radio on TuneIn." Skunk River Radio will also be available on Google Assistant in the near future. You can listen to me, Steve Shuttler, each weekday morning from 6 a.m. to noon, and listen to The Haze from noon to 6 p.m. Skunk River Radio, online radio for country music from 1990 to 2010.
This is the Death Dealer, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
This is Trent Hammer, and you are watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Wrestling fans, if you want the best wrestling news, you want to watch Shotgun Wrestling Radio. This is James Jeffries, and tell them that I sent you there. Yeah!
Hey everybody, this is Brock Anderson, and you are watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
What's up, baby? It's Ricky Bronson, your favorite baller and beer drinker, baby, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Hey, this is Mason Grayskull, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Hey, this is Jared Thumb, and you are watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
This is Augustus Draven, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. I'm your host, Zach Takis, and we are continuing the road to the Hall of Fame weekend, which is just a few weeks away, and we have something new that we talked about last week with Herb Simmons, with SICW coming into the fold here for this weekend, and at this time, that'll be a great idea to get one of SICW's biggest stars on the roster right now. In fact, he's going to be so big, he's got a match against somebody I consider to be the mayor of Waterloo, because every time this man comes to Waterloo, he's just explodes, and he's going to face James Jeffries for the SICW Central States Championship. And of course, I'm talking about the one, the only, the big nasty Mr. Glenn Williams. Sir, how are you doing tonight? Welcome to the show.
What's happening? What's going on?
Man, it's great to have you on. I know for the most part, SICW runs Illinois, so I was like, you know what? It'd be a really great idea to get you on here to get some of the Iowa folks familiar with you, for those who are not regular viewers of SICW.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to touch on what you said in the beginning. You said one of the biggest stars. I'm the biggest star at SICW. It's not even close. My metrics, I have receipts. It speaks for itself. I am the biggest star. I took what was supposed to be a secondary championship and have made it the most important thing at SICW. I am on a heater run right now, and I'm facing James Jeffries at the Hall of Fame weekend. And I can tell you guys this now, if that's your hero, I'm sorry, because I'm going to go into Waterloo, Iowa, and I'm going to slap the lips and tassels off of him, and I might even straighten that mullet out that he's got, and I'm going to pin him 1, 2, 3 and retain and keep my Central States Championship.
So let's go ahead, Glenn, and get kind of right into it. Again, for fans who aren't familiar with you or your work, where did you start your wrestling training? Where did your wrestling career begin? Were you a fan growing up? You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so a huge fan. I'm an Attitude Era baby. So, you know, my favorite is Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, all those guys. I loved that whole era, was amazing. And I got hooked on it, and I just kind of stayed watching it. I never really knew that there was an underground like independent scene. See, I was in a band in like 2007 to 2011. I was at a band called The New Translation, based out of St. Louis. And we were pretty close to getting signed. We played some pretty huge shows, played, on shows with like Linkin Park, Chris Cornell, A Perfect Circle, like just that kind of level. And it just didn't pan out. So really music was like my first choice and first love, what I really dived into as a kid. And then, so full circle moment when I start training, a guy that actually gave me the idea is a wrestler here locally in St. Louis. He just retired. His name's Tony Esteem. Well, him and I used to play music together in that time. And he was like, dude, you should start training. You'd be great at it. You'd love it. And you've got the charisma for it. And I just didn't know that schools or anything like that existed. So once I found out, I started searching and kind of finding my way. And I found the Ace Wrestling Academy, which is with Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. And that's where I graduated from. A lot of good guys in there that are the instructors, like Sean Vincent, who I'm not seeing eye to eye with right now, was my old tag partner and my mentor, and he's like running the school. And then the big Texan, you guys will see him. He's huge. He throws a lariat that will arguably take your head off of your body if you don't protect yourself. And he also trainer there. He was a heavyweight champion here. And then Attila Khan, who is Harley Race's like first champion. So he's a Harley guy through and through. He also was going down there a lot. And then when I was there's a gentleman named Frankie D who retired as well. But he really, kind of sparked my love for it when I first started training. So the Ace Academy and having Bob there you take it for granted because you see him so much. It's easy to forget, like, holy shit, that's Bob Orton, right? Like, cause he's just there. He's like, he's like your wrestling grandpa or dad or whatever, but like there are a few moments where I've been at shows and stuff and he's been there and we, on a golf cart at the racetrack headed to go wrestle. And I'm just like, I'm tying my boots at a racetrack where there's thousands of people and I'm riding in a golf cart with Bob Orton. Like, what the hell is this? I never, like, I always dreamed of it. I always thought it'd be awesome, but I had no idea that it existed. So I got started a little later than most people did, but man, I am so happy I did because I love this so much. And I take what I do very seriously because I learned from a bunch of veterans that did it the right way. And so I'm trying to keep that legacy and that style alive.
What were some of your first memories of that first day and that first even like couple weeks there of training?
I was overwhelmed because it's one thing to watch it and think that you understand what's going on. And then it's another thing to actually get in and start training and actually like learn what to do and how to do things. It was a lot. It was like information overload. And at the time I really wasn't in the best shape either. So that kind of hindered me from really, taking off with it. I was kind of a slow learner. But I just, busted my ass but the first few memories of those first sessions was like, man, the bumps, you don't realize, folks, if you've never heard, let me break the news for you. A wrestling ring is just a steel frame. And on top of that is some like wood, like 2x6s, 2x8s, whatever. And then on top of that is a very thin pad and then a canvas. So our falls and everything that we're taking, these bumps that we're taking, we're essentially falling on wood. I was sore as shit. And hitting the ropes also was another thing for me. I didn't think that would hurt. You don't realize what they feel like. It's suspension cable. Like it's steel. This shit hurts. So I had a strip like this wide across my back from hitting the ropes the first couple times. So I was just trying to remind myself that I was doing it because I loved it and to not quit and be a little bitch because that's what I wanted to do. Because it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. But once you lock in with it and keep going, it gets easier. But it is a huge hill to climb in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, like like this week, the WWE Vault YouTube page, they're celebrating the new generation era, which is always kind of, for those of us fans that grew up with that era, it's a very unique era. Like they were really trying to. It was really like kind of mundane period, kind of, but like you watch some of those matches and you hear those dudes hit that ring. That ring back then had no give.
Oh, it was so much worse.
Oh my god! Like they had a live feed going on their YouTube page, and just watching a couple of the matches here that I had in the background while I was working today. You just hear go. I'm like, oh my god! That just
I'm glad that the technology has advanced, so I'm not having to do that. Because I actually have a friend that Brandon Beretta, he got to roll around and mess around on the actual ring from like WrestleMania 3, which is like the old school rings from like the 80s, you know. And I was like, dude, how'd that feel? And he was like, it had no give. So yeah, I can confirm that is exactly how it sounded, is how bad it felt.
Yeah. What I know they always said, the old saying too was like nothing ever really got changed with it until Vince started competing, and Vince kind of finally realized, oh shit, that does hurt. So it did, from what everybody's
like everybody's lying to you, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So, all right. So you mentioned being an Attitude Era kid, and mentioned obviously growing up in that type of era. How long was the training process for you before you actually finally had your first match? Because I know every training school is different.
Yeah. There's no like set curriculum. I mean, there's drills and things that you can do, but everybody's like learning curve is going to be different. Sometimes you'll be in there and you'll have a really good week, and then you may just look like you've never done it before for the next couple weeks. So it's just like a really interesting learning curve for each individual person. For me, I think I got my first match closer to like 7 months to a year, something like that. But it took me a while, but like the cool thing is I got to be around and help out with like the ring crew stuff. Right. So like putting the ring together, tearing it down, then during the shows, having other things to do, like running, gear back from the ring to back, to the locker room and doing certain things like that and playing the music. Got to do like a little bit of everything just so you get a really good understanding of like what goes on and what makes a wrestling show a wrestling show. Yeah. It's one thing to know wrestling, but then it's another thing to understand it from every other aspect. And so that's the cool thing. I enjoy doing that just to kind of understand how things flowed and exactly what everything was. But yeah, those first few matches I think happened probably like closer to 7-8 months, closer to that,
And I always like to tell people too, if you're going to get involved in wrestling in any kind of way, whether it's going to be a commentator, referee, even a camera person, go early and help with the crew. Because I've heard promoters say this time and time again, especially at setup, tear down, everybody's kind of there, so you always kind of have enough help. You can never have enough help at the setup. And you'll learn a lot too. Like I've helped set up ring, quite a few times with one of the promotions that I do commentary work for here in Iowa. And yeah, it's a lot of work. Like if you don't respect your ring crews, then you need to try to, in my opinion, find something else to do, because those dudes bust their ass.
Yeah, they really do. You really gotta go above and beyond to be there to help, because at any given time you look, it's just like two guys. So some places require it, I think. I mean, luckily we have a good group of people that do it. I'll get a lot of flack because I don't do it as much as I should, but that's why I get paid the big bucks, you know what I mean? So I did my time. But if I see like Jimmy Hart grabbing chairs, I'll go grab a few chairs too, just so he doesn't think I'm an asshole. You know what I mean?
He did that. We had him at a Bridge City Slam. You can see it in the poster there for Central Empire Wrestling a couple of years ago. And he was doing that even back just a couple of years ago. He was helping set up chairs at the venue before the show. And I'm like, that's pretty cool for Jimmy being as much older than he is still willing to help set up something like chairs.
He owes us nothing. You know what I mean? Yep. For everything he's been a part of, he owes us nothing, but he still takes the time to do it. So he's great. I have nothing but good things to say about him. Maybe I can convince him to turn heel and manage me or something. That'd be cool.
And he still looks